Hello. My name is Mr. Brooke Keefer, and this is my statement on the wrongful death of my older brother Timothy in 1994. For 16 years after my brother's passing, my mom had accused me of being involved with his death. So I'm here to give my statement and what has actually had happened of that on my statement. On March On Wednesday, March 30th, 1994, my grandmother Avalon Keefer and I were heading to my brother Timmy's place at 115 South Kimberly Avenue, Somerset, Pennsylvania, to check on him before going to my grandmother's place at Moore's Inn Town because he had seizures and having problems with his landlord. It would have been the last day I seen him alive. On March 31st, 1994, my grandmother decided to sleep on my mom's apartment floor to get up early the next day to get another apartment. Since I had nowhere to go, I went to stay at Jim's Truck Stop's Truckers Lounge to watch TV. On April 1st, 1994, at approximately 6:30 a.m., I went to my mom's apartment because I knew they would be awake to start their day. I slept a little bit on the bed, then slept in the car as my mom, her elderly friend Ed Heinzelman, and grandmother did their routine. My grandmother got me awake to have breakfast at the Summit Diner in Somerset, PA, where she asked Bob Mailer for an apartment at 114 Oak Street, apartment number 2. I slept on the floor at Oak Street as my mom and grandmother moved things into the residence. Approximately 9:45 a.m. to 10 a.m., they had to stop so we could take my brother Timmy to get to the bank before they closed early for Good Friday. As we arrived at 115 South Kimberly Avenue, my grandmother went to knock on my brother's door. A few minutes later, she came back stating Timmy was not answering his door. My mother and I went to his door where the chain lock was on, and we yelled in several times with no response. At that time, my mother reached inside to the right to the counter to grab a yellow handled screwdriver to pry the board that held the chain lock. A few minutes later, I told her to get back where I kicked the door in. I went in to use the restroom as my mom went to check my brother. As I went back to the kitchen, my mom said he was in a seizure in his room, then left the residence. I looked in from the kitchen to Timmy's room where I could see his upper body and face down on a pillow. I went through the living room into the bedroom where Timmy was laying flat on his chest, arms by his side, legs put together, and a small yellow towel wrapped around his waist and discoloration of the body. I did take vital sign and went to roll him over, and what I've seen is too graphic to explain in this statement. In a state of shock, I went back to the kitchen where my mother flagged down Brad Kramer of Somerset Police, who is now Sheriff of Somerset Borough. At that time, he ordered my mom to call for an ambulance. My mother and I went to the hospital to call 911, then back to the residence. At that time, my cousin Terry was there with my grandmother, so we went to the payphone at Moore's Inn Town. Once back at the residence, medical personnel was there where they entered the place with my mother. As I stood in the small hallway looking in where my mom stood at my brother's bedroom door, medical crew came out of my bedroom brother's bedroom room stating he was gone. My mom asked what they meant, and they said he was dead. And then she screamed. My mother and I went to the hospital to call relatives as I called my former girlfriend, Sue Thomas. We went back to the residence where Timmy was loaded into the vehicle. I walked with my mom to my I walked with my mother over to my brother's probation officer, John Kristoff, to notify him of Timothy's passing. Then at Bob and B's bar at 1:20 p.m., April 1st, 1994. Note: my mother did give Brad Kramer screwdriver, broken hammer, clothes in bathroom between tub and toilet, pillow, yellow towel, and requested for state police investigation where she was denied. And the belongings were wrongfully disposed of. Conclusion of foul play. Screwdriver number one. Screwdriver and hammer on counter in easy reach. Clothes between tub and toilet indicating Timothy had taken a bath. When my brother would take a bath, he would leave the water in till the next time he bathed. The tub was bone dry. The position of the body laid flat, arms by his side, legs put together, laying on a pillow. Yellow towel wrapped around my brother's waist. My brother's was small. It would have not stayed on his body during a seizure. My brother was not a tidy person. He would have been found on his things and naked. My brother's one half of rent money for March was missing from the top of the refrigerator. Condition of facial, where I rolled him over to his side, is too graphic to comment on this issue. This is my statement that I've been waiting for 25 years for the statement to be known of my whereabouts and the conclusion of what had happened that day. Thank you.